do all of your students go through to that program, or is there some kind of a streaming out process, or are students only staying on if they are doing good enough and then others are leaving to go and do other programs? Or the ICSE actually have a program that will take them up to year 12 or 13? Any secondary, any IB teachers here? Yes, IB and secondary. Okay, so in terms of the students that go through to do IB, do they have to reach a certain level, or are all students going through to do IB? How do you work that?
If they're willing to do IB, then definitely we have assessment criteria for that, and only once they're assessed, then they can take up IB. Just like that.
Okay. What was the other thing I wanted to ask you? If I remember, I'll ask. Okay, thank you.
All right, so should we start? Because yeah, we're not delay the teachers who came in time. All right, so my name is Marsel. Please, if you do have any questions during the presentation, just raise up your hand or just tell me, Marsel, stop, I need to know what is this part about. Then I will gladly answer your questions. So today we're going to present you Achieve3000. This is a differentiated e-learning program. And I would like to ask you if you face any differentiation in your school, or you using any differentiation instructions at the moment at the school. I will just tell you basic things about the differentiation. What the Ministry of Education has been telling us, like 3 years ago, they was going to provide and assess all the schools. So they will use a basic differentiation, which is differentiation into 3 levels. So we have the 3 types of books: green book, blue book, and red book. And if you're a good reader, you're getting a green book with a higher level or appropriate level to the grade, and you're reading on your level. If you're like middle, like reading on your level, or maybe a bit lower, then you will get a lower version, which is the second one. And if you're like a dummy student and you don't have any knowledge about reading and you're far way below, you will get a red book. And by the way, all the class will notice that you have a red book, right? So they thought about this kind of differentiation that wasn't correct enough. If we have students in the same grade, they deserve to speak and to get the materials and read in their level, right? In the grade level, and they deserve to learn the same subject. So for example, if we have 3 different students, and me, I will be on the lower level, and my teacher will tell me, Marsel, we are going to learn about the earthquakes today, but you will learn about rocks because you are not into the grade level. So that will let me feel bad, you know, and it will not motivate me to become a better student. So, and as you heard about the differentiation, and I would like to ask you if you are familiar with the Lexiles, and I would like to, first of all, I would like to ask you which kind of differentiation instructions are you using in your school at the moment? Please, anyone who can tell me anything about it. Like, do you differentiate materials? How are you finding them? This is what I'm interested in at the moment.
We make it simpler to the levels of the child.
So you do look for the material and then you do your own version.
Yes.
Is it time consuming for you?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, it takes a lot of time, right? So the basic things, what we would like to tell you, that the main job of the teacher is actually to teach in the class. You're not the one who's supposed to go and look for the material. That basically as school, as a target for the academical advisors and people like that. So you have to have the material, you have to have the curriculum, and you have to have the clear road when you will follow to teach your students and to get them to the upper grades and let them pass the exams with the nice marks. That is the basic targets of each teacher. And I would like to ask any other comments about differentiation, what you do besides that you're looking for the materials and you differentiate them by yourself. There is any other ways you differentiate here at the school?
Project work.
What?
Project.
Project. Okay. And thank you.
I think predominantly we differentiate by the teachers tasks. So it's just these two, predominantly task and by
task. Okay, gotcha. All right, so I would like to introduce you to the Lexile Framework, and tell me, please raise up your hand if you heard about Lexile anything before. No. All right. So basically, the Lexile is a measurement, we call it measurement, which was developed 15 years ago after the long research by mathematics, and this framework actually helping you to define the text complexity level. So we have the scale, and better I will play the video for you. It will explain you perfectly what is the Lexile Framework. Just one second.
The Lexile Framework for Reading is a way to connect children with books and other learning materials that will help them grow as readers. Consider this. Dad takes his son Harry to buy a new pair of trainers. As the salesperson leads them to the trainers, he asks, "How old is your son?" Dad answers, "He's 12. So the salesperson points to a shelf and says, "These are our age 12 trainers." Not likely, right? We don't buy shoes based on our age, we buy them based on the size of our feet. Like shoes, books aren't one size fits all. Yet, for years, we match children to reading materials based on their age or year group. We need a better way to connect children with reading materials that will help them grow as readers. That's where the Lexile Framework for Reading can help. When shoe shopping, the scale used to measure Harry's foot tells you his shoe size, not his age. In the same way, the Lexile Framework determines a child's reading ability, not their age or year group. Take Daniel here. He's 9 years old. Daniel likes science fiction, so he's given books that are considered 9-year-old science fiction to read. But what if Daniel's reading ability is much higher than the average child his age? Or what if he's not quite reading at a 9-year-old's level? Like Harry's age 12 trainers, the text simply doesn't fit the child. The Lexile Framework for Reading is an educational tool that connects children with reading materials using a common measure called a Lexile. It was developed after 20 years of research by US-based educational measurement company Metametrics. The value of a Lexile measure has been proven time and time again and is now recognized as the most accurate way to match children with text. What makes the Lexile Framework unique and what has led to its widespread adoption is that it measures both reading ability and text difficulty on the same scale. The result is 2 Lexile measures, one for the reader and one for the text. A Lexile reader measure describes a child's reading ability. A Lexile text measure describes the difficulty of a particular text. Both Lexile measures are represented by a number followed by the letter L. The measure sits somewhere on the Lexile scale, which ranges from below 200 Lexile for beginning readers in text to above 1700 Lexile for advanced readers in text. When used together, Lexile reader measures and Lexile text measures help you to connect children with books and other materials that meet and challenge their unique reading abilities. Here's how the process works. Susie takes a reading test that is linked to the Lexile Framework. When she receives her report, it also shows her Lexile measure. As for the difficulty of a text, this is calculated using a proprietary Lexile equation. The equation uses sentence length and word frequency to determine the Lexile measure of the text, whether it be a book, a magazine article, or a single passage. When you know Susie's Lexile measure, you can use it to connect her with books in her Lexile range, about 50 Lexile above and 100 Lexile below her Lexile measure. One way is to search the Lexile book database for titles within her Lexile range. Susie has also told us what topics she likes to read about, so we can enter that information too. Within seconds, Susie has a list of suggested books that is completely personalised to her reading ability and interests. She can then look for those books at her local library or...
So what do you think how the Lexiles can help your school, right? There is some idea how to help. And I will tell you one thing, we are working here in UAE for just 1 year. I mean, the Achieve3000 been created like 8 years ago, maybe more than a decade. But as far as in the Middle East, it's working internationally. The company started working 2 years ago, and we have offices all around the world. We have offices in UK, we have offices in Australia, in Japan, in China, in Korea, also in the Europe. So basically why it's so useful program and why everybody want to use it. And by the way, within 1 year here in UAE, we have more than 15 schools which are using Achieve3000, and there are some GEMS schools as well, because I know that you belong to the GEMS network. Beside that, we have American University of Sharjah, Petroleum Institute, all HCT colleges are using Achieve3000, not because this is the one only e-learning program in the market. No, there is many of those, but this is the only one e-learning program which have differentiation inside. So as we have the Lexiles, and before all of your students is going through the to work in the system, they are going through the level set test assessment. And level set test assessment is basically the TOEFL IELTS based questions, where after the students passing the test, we are defining their exact Lexile level. So the day number one, the lesson number one, when they will start the program, they will go and read the material on their level. Why? Because we have 16,000 of non-fiction lessons covering all these subjects. Everything which can come to your mind will be there. Like if your students are passionate about the soccer, fashion, artists, if they want to read about some kind of the news, what recently happened in the world, or maybe they're into technology, computer, Facebook, Instagram, any social networks, we have articles about everything. And those all are non-fiction material, which will differentiate into 12 different levels. So basically now what you're going to discover, because I'm going to give you the access to the program, that you will have 16,000 of non-fiction lessons differentiated into 12 different levels. And if you're a social study teacher, you go and look for the lessons which are related to the social studies. If you're an English teacher and you know exactly the zone of interest of your students, you can go and find by subjects. If you're looking into to teach some kind of strategies, for example, to find the main idea, to compare and contrast, you can also by topics, by the search tool, you can go find. And by the way, when you will start to use the program right now during the training, just try it out. Go to the search tool and put anything you would like to see. All right. So let's go further, and I will show you a few slides from the presentation. So as I already mentioned, that Achieve3000 is used in like more than 20,000 students we have here in UAE which are using Achieve3000. Today I will introduce you to Lexile, and basically you already passed that step. You will experience the automated differentiation we use to build the literacy skills through the 5-step routine which we have in our program. We will learn how to accelerate your students' abilities and measure with the Lexile scores and other real-time assessment data. And by the way, this is a very interesting part of the training, because one few GEMS schools, for example, maybe you heard about the Al-Khalij National School, which is belong to GEMS, located in Garhoud. When they start to use Achieve3000, within 3 months, the principal decide to ask library to differentiate materials in the library. So what has happened? The library actually took the books which they had in the library, copy-paste the text from the books to the program. You can just copy-paste one paragraph. The program in the internet will analyze it, and it will give you the Lexile level. We can also show you the Lexile level of any magazines. It's also about the fiction, because whenever you know the Lexile student, the Lexile of your student, you can match him to the text. Whenever it will be non-fiction, if it will be fiction, if it will be any other source. So right now, if you come to Al-Khalij National School library, you can actually see that there is a shelves in the library. They're differentiated into different Lexile levels. So for example, there is a shelf from 200 to 500, from 500 to 700, from 700 to 900. So when my level is 750 Lexile levels, and I will come to the library, I will not go and check the books in the 1000 Lexile level, because for me, it will be very hard, complicated to actually comprehend and understand the material which is there. So what I will do, I will try to find the material which is on my level, maybe 50 or 100 Lexiles below, and maximum 50 Lexiles above. If it will be more than 50 Lexiles above, it will be hard for me to understand the material. For example, for your understanding, during the year time in the school, what maximum you can reach without Achieve3000, with the best curriculum, with the best books, and with the motivated students, you can reach the 69 Lexile scores per year. That's a maximum gross, which we analyze many schools in UAE, and the maximum was a 69 Lexiles during the year without Achieve3000. What happened after the schools start to use Achieve3000? We see that some of the schools was doubling the results, and some of them was tripling. So you can see that in 1 year of time, your students will grow by 3 grades. in the reading and writing level, which is absolutely fantastic. The thing is that most of your students are ESL students, and I heard that there is also some special needs teachers over the place. We have the part of the program to Achieve3000. There is a solution which we can turn on for your school. It's called intervention, so it will help all of your students who are on a very low level. Anyways, the child is on the grade 5 level, and you cannot give him the grade 2 material because he's in the grade 5 level. But if you will give him material in the grade 5 level, he will not be able to understand it. So what we did, we differentiate the grade 5 material into different levels. So now you have this ability to give your students the lessons on the grade level, but with together using the Lexiles, you can match them to their Lexile level, which is very helpful. And also you will see how Achieve3000 will support you as a teacher, because we have many positive feedbacks from the teacher which are using Achieve3000, and they're just saying that Achieve3000 completely changed the way they was teaching before. You can keep still going to follow your curriculum, to use your books which you are using. What we are recommending you is just to at least use twice, 2 lessons a week, or maybe 1 lesson a week with Achieve3000 in the class. So let me proceed and show you a few more slides, and then I will give you an access to the program. We win Cody Award, by the way. 2015 is also gathered by the Achieve3000, but the problem is that we don't have enough time just to update the presentation because we have so much meetings with the schools around. This is a Lexile, this is a level set. By the way, take a look this is an example of the question which students are getting in the level set test assessment. So you can see they have A, B, C, D, and don't worry, all questions are mixed in Achieve3000, so they will not have a chance to cheat. But what we are suggesting to do the level set test assessment together with your students in the class, so they will not ask for support of family or somebody else. All right? Yeah. So that's what I was telling you. The expected gain 69, and with Achieve3000, we have American University of Sharjah, which last year did 350 Lexile goals. That's really amazing. But the thing is that the problem is that the students over here are not native speakers, and for them English is a second language, and for teachers it's a big challenge, you know, to bring them to the right level, to the grade level without differentiation. So that is the thing why we are doing well in this market. And you can find also any magazines and newspaper in the world, they also have the Lexile level. You can see that there is a Times of India written on the 1320 Lexile level. And it's pretty high level. It's like more than the, it's more than university level, a bit more. And why? Because you can compare it to US newspaper and to British newspaper. Those our friends are not using more than 1,000 Lexile for the newspaper. You know, they don't want people to have a trouble, but because I believe in India there is a strong kind of education. You guys do very well, and you are able, after you passing the school and university, read newspaper on such a higher English level. And I was impressed by actually my Indian friend, their English just so perfect that I just need to get to the same place where they are. And you can also see that we also Lexile the books in the university. So for example, if I'm going to become an engineer, the first book which I will open in my first year in the university will be on the 1200 level. So that's mean that before I will come to the first year in university, I have to be on this level of reading of non-fiction. Otherwise, I will just not be a good student. I will not have a chance to understand that. So here you can see the ages and the Lexile ranges. By the way, you can have you can see in your guides on the page number 3. You can find the Lexile level appropriate for the grades. So you can just compare it and have a look at that. I'm not sure. I was thinking that you are guys using the British curriculum, but then I realized that you're actually using the Leslie, how did it called?
ICSE.
ICSE, yeah, exactly. So I got for you the compare chart with the Lexiles comparing to the Common European Framework. So before your students are going to pass IELTS or TOEFL, you can actually show them, you can make sure that if they are on 750 Lexile level, that means they will pass the IELTS B1 on the actually pretty good, with a pretty good marks. And let's move on to the 5-step routine, and here is the time when I will actually give you an access to the program. Just let me scroll down to the 5-step routine. Alright, so just take your laptops, please. Go to the website www www.achieve3000.com, and from there, if you will see on the right side, there will be a small sign for you, and I will go ahead and log with you together, so you can see how I'm doing and just repeat after me. Okay, can you see this on the right top? There is 3 lines, small ones. Just open the menu, then scroll down and press the user login. When you did that, you will see the access to the program. And by the way, I want to show you that in Achieve3000, what happened with the internet? The internet is down? Okay, Mr. Sidney, can we have help over here, please? I'm not sure. Anyways, I can connect through my phone and then.
Marsel, can you log into the last one instead?
Sorry?
access. The last
But I think I don't have a password.
Do you have that?
Okay, that's fine. Let me just connect to my phone. No, I don't. That's fine because I have a chance to connect from my phone and then we will proceed. But you try to connect if you can, okay? Sorry for that, but I don't know, the internet just disappeared in the middle of the presentation. Yeah. Okay, I will keep the presentation because I don't want to run out of the time.
It will come back in 5 minutes.
In 5 minutes, okay, but I will go through my phone so I have internet right now. And those who have internet, just do the same as me. Please put the password, which is Dzharkas70, username and the login same. I will put it here. Just instant 10 if you can use 7. That's it. Just put this username and login. By the way, you can keep this one for yourself. And after the presentation, we will be providing you the demo access to the program for 2 weeks, so you will have time to see how it all works. All right? Yeah. So what will happen after you will come, and I wish you all be able to log into the system. Just put the same as login, the username and password are the same. Everyone's ready? Yeah? The internet is not working. Okay, then we'll wait till the internet will come back to you. Until that time, let me just play one video, okay? So you will know more about the 5 steps.
Achieve3000, because ELLs excel with lessons that compel. Many of us dream of going to college and achieving career success. Even for our most challenged ELL students, that dream is attainable. With daily opportunities for academic reading, speaking, listening, and writing, 1300 Lexile, the benchmark of college and career readiness, can be reached by your ELL students. Achieve3000 can help. Based on decades of scientific research, Achieve3000's proven and patented method of online differentiated instruction engages ELL students at their individual reading levels, in English or Spanish, and constantly challenges them to improve their literacy skills. How does it work? Achieve3000's patented solutions work like this. Level set assessment establishes a baseline Lexile level. Online differentiated lessons match a student Lexile level with grade appropriate text and instruction. Ongoing assessment measures ability to comprehend informational text. Adaptive content steps up text complexity as reading improves. Achieve3000 scaffolding and instruction
instructional flexibility enable multiple ELL models, even within the same classroom. Targeted and purposeful scaffolding, designed specifically for English language learners at all levels, unlocks access to each lesson and its complex informational text. Daily vocabulary instruction and comprehensive audio supports link reading to speaking and listening. Writing exercises bolster English language precision. The result? Using Achieve3000's differentiated instruction solution just twice per week can lead to 2 to 3 times the expected Lexile reading gains in a school year. And a national study demonstrated more than 190,000 students using Achieve3000 reached college and career readiness benchmarks. With Achieve3000, the school of the future is here today. Request a demo at www.achieve3000.com or call us at 800-838.
You already have the demo and you have us over the place, so we can show it to you right now how it works. So when you get into the program, you will actually choose a system which is TINPIS. There is also eScience because we have an eScience built-in system which is following NGSS curriculum, but we'll not talk about science a lot today. By the way, if you're a science teacher, even without going to the eScience program, you can just go in the search button and you will put cells or dolphins or anything else in the subject, and you will find hundreds and hundreds of articles about different kind of subjects. So this is how basically the homepage of the teacher look like, and as you can see, everything what we have in yellow, it's available only for the teacher. If the students will come into the program, all they will see that will be only the lessons which you assign to them. By the way, Achieve3000 also will be lessons for the entire year, but here as a teacher you can correct those lessons and you can put it in the schedule which you like. So for example, if you don't like this article about the elephant's return, you can just delete it and you can search for another one and you can add it. I will show it to you later how to do it, and I wish you were able. But as Mr. Sidney told, the internet is coming back, yeah? He just went out for the coffee. Okay. So as a teacher, you can see here the all weekly, by the way, we have a little report system inside Achieve3000, so you as a teacher will be able to see exactly how many hours your students spend in the program. You will see how many articles they does in the last week. You will see what is the Lexile level roles of each of your students. So you will have the thought question report. For example, whenever the students are finishing the lesson, they're actually sending the short essay, and this essay also differentiated depending on the level. Let me show it to you how it works. But before you start the lesson, and that's what we were talking with you before we started. Sorry, what is your name? Chanvi, yeah? Okay. The Chanvi said that she was looking for the differentiated materials, and then she was differentiated by herself, the article which she thought to use in the lesson. But right now, as a teacher, you don't have to do anything. You just have to find the correct article, which is following course, either strategy, either subject, either anything what you're following into the lesson. So as a teacher, you can have the chance open the curriculum key, and in curriculum key, you can actually see all lesson information. You can see article summary, you can see the key concepts, you can see the lesson objectives, you will see the lesson vocabulary, and those vocabulary will be differentiated into 12 different levels. You will see the teacher recommendation for each step. So you don't have to worry about what I will do in the lesson, because the teacher recommendations for each lesson is already pre-made for the teacher. And as additional materials, and some of you mentioned to me that if you have here struggling readers, there is a special part which will help you to understand how you can support those special ELL students or struggling readers. This is a special support which is related to the lesson, okay? And beside that, if you're having in your class gifted and talented students, you have also this additional support for the gifted and talented. Why? Because we noticed that the gifted and talented students are finishing lesson within 15-20 minutes, and they're just bored, you know. But the rest of the class is still working on the task. Those 5 students are sitting and doing nothing, you know. So for them, you have this special materials which are also related to the same topic, but those are extra sources. When they will go into, they will have more things to read, okay? And the other thing, beside that, you can see information about the strategy of the lesson. So if I will press here, I will automatically see which kind of strategy this entire article is following up. So I can see here, you can just focus on it. So here, this lesson is about understanding the text structure. You can see this, right? Chronological sequences. Okay, let's go and click the start the lesson button, and I will show you the 5-step routine. So the lesson starting basically from the regular question, and I would like to ask you one thing. This question is related to the article, but take a note that student doesn't get to the article step. They don't know anything about it yet. So why we are asking this kind of question when we are asking them to agree or disagree? What is your opinion? Why we have this question? Anyone? No? To get them thinking? Good, yeah.
Just to check gender awareness.
Yeah, and
Any previous knowledge that they
prior knowledge, exactly, you got it. Yeah, so the prior knowledge, before the students even start the lesson, the teacher should be able to see what was the prior knowledge, because they will not just press agree or disagree over here, they will also explain why you want it this way. And you as a teacher, you can go to the report and you can see those answers, which are very important for you, because you will understand what is the prior knowledge of the student. And why we are asking this agree or disagree, because in the end of the lesson, we might show them the poll results all around the world, globally, which is 3 million students are using Achieve3000. And what you can do with that, you can have the collaborate learning, you can have discussion in the class, why you want it this way, why you want it this way, what do you think about this whole idea, so it will have some discussion. And you know that if you have lots of discussion in the class, that will take up the level of their speaking, right? And this is also important skill them to have. So whenever they want it, agree or disagree, they're going ahead and they're going into the article. So the article is basically the lesson, and as a teacher, I have here up the Lexile switcher. This is only for the teacher. The student, whenever they will go to the article part, only they will see the article on their Lexile level. They will not see it on a different Lexile. But you as a teacher, you can switch different Lexile levels. And I will show you how the article look like on the 1080 Lexile. As you can see the length of the article, how many paragraphs are here. Yeah, it's a big long lesson, right? There is something to read. But we are not asking only, and this article is about, it's take place where, for example, if I'm wondering what is the place of this article, it will show me that this is about Nimali, somewhere in Africa. Right? Before I didn't have any idea, but if I'm reading an article about those elephants in Africa and I will press a map button, I will see exactly where it will place. So it will improve my knowledge on geography. Yes?
So after the children take the test, the assessment,
Yeah.
Does the teacher have to assign the material to them according to their level, or does that get assigned?
No. Look, the teacher, that's a good question. Thank you so much. The thing is, what the teacher doing, the teacher just assigned the lesson, but because the program already know the Lexile of all of your class, it's automatically spreading the lesson to the class, but each one of the students will receive it a different type of article. So teacher has nothing to do. Teacher just find the right article with the right subject. When the moment when teacher press assign button, all of the class will receive the lesson on their own Lexile level. My article should be short, might be shorter because I'm in the lower Lexile level. Your article will be on the higher, and that's what I'm going to demonstrate right now.
Can you show us?
Yeah, of course. So look, right now what will happen if I will switch this Lexile, this lesson to 520. Yeah. Questions? On the complexity, on the text complexity. Yeah. But on the text complexity and the student ability to comprehend the material also different in the different levels. So if you will be students on the 500 Lexile level and I will be student on the 1000 Lexile level, your article will be much shorter because there is no such so many words on this level. But the main idea is there. Whenever in your class you have the students in the very low level, anyways, in the end of the lesson, they will have ability to learn the same topic as all the class, so they will feel equal. Yes?
What is the way to identify the Lexile level?
What is the way to identify the Lexile level?
Different students like you have a measure way.
They are doing
We have a way of identifying all children to different categories. based on their marks and their
Yeah. No,
skills and all
that's what I making you missed in the beginning. I was talking about the level set test assessment. So before your students are just touching the program, whenever they're putting logins and passwords and they're pressing enter, the first page what they will see will not be the home page of Achieve3000, it will be level set test. And after they will go through the questions and I will explain to you how those questions are working. So for example, you are in the grade 5 level, right? So the first question which will come out will be on the 400, 500 Lexile level, which is appropriate to your grade level. And if you will continuously give the correct answers, the program will take your Lexile up. You might be in the grade 5, but you're already reading in the 1200 Lexile levels. What the same thing will happen with the weak students when they will start the first question in the 500 Lexile level, but they're a lower reader, for sure they will answer it wrongly, and the program will take them to the place where they are in the middle. But it's not only 2 times assessment. We have 3 assessments during the year, which is a pre-test, interim test, and the post-test, which are students going to make just before the summer vacation, summer holidays. So the thing is, whenever they're working into the program, we are continuously assessing the Lexile levels, because it's not growing just by 6 months, you know? Your students are not reading today in the one level and tomorrow in the one level and 3-4 months. No, every 2 weeks their levels is getting higher, and when they're answering correctly on activity step, the Lexile is also going up. I will show you that. Yes. Okay, of course, yeah. Yeah, no problem. We'll show you. By the way, I will tell you exactly. The Achieve3000 in US and UK, all around the world, when there is a native speaker, is using from the grade 2 till grade 12. But for not native speaker, for ESL students, when the English is a second language, we are recommending you to start from the grade 4 till grade 12. But don't worry, those students who are on the lower levels, grade levels, we are not letting them, like, you know, to keep on the same curriculum. No, they have also additional tool which called Smarty Ants. And when Tony will get here, he will explain it to you. Basically, this is the same, but it's not mostly like a program for reading. This is more like a game, because it's starting in the KG when the students are learning phonics, alphabets, letters, how to build the sentences. So whenever they are becoming to the level when they can read at least on the 150 Lexile level, you can automatically take them and put them into the Achieve3000. Because as you may see in the page number 2, I think just the first page, yeah, we have this KidBiz, TinBiz, and Powers 3000. Those are all Achieve3000, but it's also differentiated by grade level. Because for different grades, you have different type of materials, right? So, but don't think that, for example, a student cannot read, in the grade 10 cannot read the grade 5 material, because it's differentiated. If he's on the higher level, he will just get the higher text complexity of the article, okay? Did you get your internet? Can you please check? That's it? All right, let's keep moving. Maybe you noticed that here, as a teacher, I have graphic organizers. So what I can do, I can print out those graphic organizers, and during the class, after they finish the reading, I can give this graphic organizers to all of my students, and they can put for me the sequences of events chart. So they will put what happened in the beginning, then the next action, next action, next action. So beside the assessment of Achieve3000 and the essay which you will receive, you can also have those graphic organizers just to be able to have more data to evaluate your students' level and your students' understanding of this kind of subject or strategy or this kind of lesson. Yeah.
I know that the complexity of the Lexile levels is the thing that most teachers are going to be most concerned about. And if we could just let them see here, this lower Lexile level, you can see that the amount of text and the complexity of the text is much simpler than the one that you saw before. And you can see that you've got certain pieces of vocabulary that are highlighted. So if students click onto that, not only can they receive a definition for that vocabulary, they can also have
now, fighting between 2 groups within the same country.
So they've got the same topic, you're able to work as a class with that topic, but the students are accessing it at their own reading and language level. And that's the beauty of it, rather than students in class feeling, well, we're the brainy ones, we're the not so brainy ones, and we're the very stupid ones. everybody's working together around the same theme, and students don't need to be concerned about what anybody else's Lexile level is. They will be interested in their own Lexile level because the way that the program is set up, there are a number of things that you'll see in due course that encourage them to be looking at how they're improving their Lexile level, what they may need to do next. And that's the beauty of that 5-step program, that it's constantly encouraging them and challenging them, but in a very enjoyable way to think, yeah, I want to do more of this, rather than, oh, I can't, or I don't want to know, or I don't like this. So, on the whole, students find that this is a much more exciting way of learning, because not only is it being pitched at the right level for an individual student, but they are going to be able to work as part of a group. And depending upon the topics that you find you're going to use in class, then you know, you've got some flexibility there in terms of what to do. I'll shut up now and let myself carry on.
All right, so as you see right now, I used a few colors on the text, and I have a basically simple question which I know that you will answer definitely. For what you can use those different colors highlighting the text in the article? Yeah. Else? Anything else? What?
Internet.
I don't hear it. Internet is back. Okay, please log on into the system, everyone. I want you to touch it. So let's go back to this tab when you are logging into the system. Just go to the www.achieve3000.com. Already internet is back. That's good. I hope you enjoy this coffee. Okay. When you get to the website of Achieve3000, please just put the choose the user login and then put the password. If you're a teacher of the higher grades, you can put 10T, but if you're a teacher of the lower grade or primary school, just use this one version. It will be better for you. Okay? Password is the same as a login, just the same thing. Yeah. Just let me know when you're done, okay? Don't use those logins, those are for students, and I don't think on the first presentation you have to go through this. This is basically what implementation training is. If you have a trouble, please raise up your hand. I will come to you and I will help you to log into the website. Yes, same as a login. Yeah. That's correct. Okay. Yeah, perfect. You're in. You're in. Most of you are in already. Okay, good. Now the internet might be a bit stressed because so many people connected at the same time. Please, whenever you will have the button choose a program, choose the one which is not inside. Either TeamBeats or KidBits or a Power beside. Password is the same as a username. Same as a username. Password. So if the login is this, the password is completely the same.
The same one as the password.
No, 10T. This is a student. 7T and 10T. Yes, this is a T. 17. Sorry? Please don't use anything else besides the T, which is a teacher edition. T, okay? 7T, yeah. For primary, 10T for more like seniors, okay? Same as a password. User password is the same as the user. When you are in the program, you can go ahead and start the same lesson which we are doing. if you don't like this subject, just try another lesson. There is no matter. You can just switch. Yeah. And please do play with the when you will press the article. Do play with the Lexile level. See how the article will change. Okay. So this highlighting tool I'm not using only for the main idea. Leslie, what else I can highlight? What do you think?
Yes, an important thing for you to be aware of are also these little buttons here. If you press on one of those, you'll find that a little text box will pop up. And as you can see, as students are reading through the paragraphs, if they want to summarize the information, or if it's making questions occur to them, then this is a way of them to record that information, because at the end of the 5 steps, they're going to be doing a piece of their own writing. So this is helping them to go through it and helping them to structure how they may put together their response in the end. And of course here, setting the purpose, it's thinking about what kind of piece of writing is this? What is the audience that I'm trying to connect with? What kind of information I'm trying to get across? And so, particularly, generating the questions and setting of the purpose are very important for critical thinking. And the beauty of it is that you're starting this then at quite a young age, getting students to think about, well, what is my opinion? What do I think about this? And certainly, if you've got students going on to IB diploma, those are skills that they're going to need to have in abundance when they begin their diploma program. So I don't want to get into the sort of ICSE curriculum too much, but I know you have a very content-heavy curriculum. Just out of interest, I printed off the Year 6 ICSE curriculum just to get an overview of the kinds of topics that were in there. And having looked at that, I can see that particularly with English and with the social sciences, you've got some great opportunities there. And I think this is true of both lower secondary and into primary. If you're looking at doing any kind of cross-curricular or integrated curriculum working, you've got a great opportunity there for accessing articles. Then if you're working with your colleagues from, say, civics or history, geography, and some of the sciences, you can actually be delivering your English curriculum through another subject medium. And the beauty of that for students is that rather than doing 2 or 3 pieces of work, they can be doing 1 piece of work, but they're also providing the appropriate pieces of outcome for 3 different subjects. So the idea that you can produce a piece of work that can go to geography, science and English and be marked appropriately for those 3 subjects is great for them. And it's also helping to embed and help them understand a lot better what it is that they're doing, rather than trying to grapple with lots of pieces of work. Obviously, that needs some coordination between you and your other teaching colleagues. And at the outset, you may think, is this a little bit too much when we've got so much on our plate? All I would say to you is maybe find a like-minded colleague and think about trying it out. And if it works for you, great, because that's then going to help you to set up how you can do that in a much, much broader way. And obviously, the idea of working smarter, not harder, has got to be in everybody's interest.
Correct. Thank you so much for your comments. So beside this post tool, which is highlighting and building the reading connections, which is very important for your students, we also have audio tool, but it's not accessible through the demo access. It's only when the primary access to the normal program. But your students are actually, within their reading, they can also play the article to themselves. If they're struggling with the pronunciation, they can practice like that. So whenever they're reading, they can take the headphones or something, or even if they're doing the home reading, they can do it without the headphones, right? By the way, Achieve3000 is 75% home-based reading program. So only 25% is happening in the school. So what are the teachers doing when they are assigning 5 lessons for a week? They might do 1 or 2 lessons in the class, and others lesson the children will do home. And you as a teacher, because you are admin of your class, you will receive the reports, who of your students was working in the program, who was not, and if there was what they does in the program, you will see all data. So everything, by the way, you can also even see what they highlighted in the article. You can also see what they put in the summarization, or which question they generate. But it's not necessary to do it for each paragraph, but at least for the 2 paragraphs, because you know students right now in this century, they just read something, 1 hour, completely forget what it was, what this lesson was about. And you as a teacher coming next day to the class asking, Muhammad, what was reading about yesterday? Oh teacher, I don't remember really, And when they, when sometimes when the students are giving you essay, some of them did it badly and they don't want to give it to the teacher. So next day they will come and say, I don't know, I had my essay to you. You lost it probably. It's your problem, teacher. I did my job, But here with the electronic system, it's not working, just not working, because each essay they will apply to you, submit to you, will go through the report through the server. So by the way, your students can also work not only in computers, they can, by the way, schools who are not have facilities, doesn't have iPads or something, they're working with the students in the IT classes. Those schools who have the devices with the students, but they don't want students to do anything else besides Achieve during the lesson, the Achieve have also Android and Apple app when they can work in the program offline, and when the device is getting connected, it's just synchronizing data, and teachers are receiving the feedback from the students, and students are receiving new lesson from the teacher. So you can also, I'm not sure, do you have tablets for your students? So it's perfectly for you. From the grade 3, and they have personal device, or it's bring your own device, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's a very good thing, because you are, in the step with the future, because in the 21st century, I'm feeling sorry for those schools who doesn't have this capacity and technologies, they're just struggling. They're still printing out thousands and thousands of papers to be able just to give an order to give to the students some material, right? Okay, let's move on. But before that, I just want you to, one more time, switch the Lexile to the lower level and just see how it will look like on the 250 Lexile level. See the same article? Basically, 4 sentences, but the main idea is here.
One thing I would suggest is that, as Marsel has pointed out, the whole of the lesson is a 5-point program. So far, we've only got up to point 2, which is the article. So once students have read the article, they then move on to point 3, which is the activity. And that really is a sort of range of multiple choice style questions that they would undertake. So in many ways it would be very useful if you could just take the time now to go through that 5-step program, to have a look at it as to how the student would be involved with it. And then once you've done that, you can perhaps go back then and point out some of the other features about using the lessons, how you may plan as a teacher, and things like parent access and so on.
And for those teachers who are teaching the special needs kids, I'm not sure, do you have them here at the school? Yeah, if you have them, it's perfect, because you have you see enrichment and intervention. So the language we are putting on for everyone, because this is for ESL students. If I'm native speaker, I don't need the language option put on me. But if I am a special needs teacher, I will also include the intervention. In intervention mode, I will have more details and more lower level material, which is much more comprehensible for your students. It will help you in an amazing way. Our special needs teachers are so happy using Achieve3000 because they can find topics which will be differentiated and which will also include the intervention for this student who does really need a lot of attention from the teacher. Okay, let's go to the activities tab. I think we covered everything but you see the vocabulary, whenever you switch in Lexile level, the vocabulary changing automatically, right? So different Lexile level students will have different vocabulary of the lesson. This is a beauty. And here is activities tab. Activities tab, that was something I mentioned earlier. This is a continuous assessment which you have in your lesson. So as you can see, here you will have 8 questions, which are basically IELTS, TOEFL-based questions, and they have A, B, C, D, and those questions are following different strategies and different curriculum standards. So as the student is going through these questions, and if he's reading material on his level, he should be able to answer all of the questions, like at least 75% or higher. The student does have a chance to answer the question for the second time, but we are only counting the first time. So if your student continuously during the months did 4 lessons in the class with the teacher and he answered activities on the 75% or higher, the system will evaluate that and pump up his Lexile level. So next month when your student will come to the class, he will be reading on the more challenging level, more higher level. And continuously your school will grow up to the higher Lexile level. And in the case, if your students got lucky by some chance and they did level set test really good, but they got Lexile level which is higher than their real Lexile level, you will see they will answer wrongly completely. You know, they will make like 30, 40, 50%, but this system will analyze that, and in the month's time it will set them down to the Lexile level when they are. Because the secret of differentiated instructions is that your students are working on their level, not on the level of somebody else. All right? Do you want to comment something on that?
No, I don't think so. It's just to say that the beauty of this system really does take out all the hard work for you. You can have faith in the fact that because of students answering the activity questions and them being marked, and through the teacher portal, you are also able to go and check any student, every student, and see what it is that they're doing in terms of their work. As Marsel also pointed out, you have the opportunity to be using this in class or for it to go home. There are also things called bonus lessons, and those are the kinds of things that can be done also at home as an extra activity. You may well find that you've got some students who were very reluctant readers, but because they're seeing progress with a program like this, they're actually engaging with it more, and as a result, you're seeing that constant progress taking place. But also, as Marsel said, there is an opportunity 3 times a year, roughly every term, so that students can be formally assessed to see exactly what kind of progress they are making. One thing that wasn't pointed out at the beginning as well, when students take the initial Lexile test, you will get those results, and for the first 3 weeks, you'll have an opportunity, if you think that those Lexile levels are not correct, to move them up or down to whatever you think is a more appropriate level for that student. But because of them doing the work, the system automatically is checking, yes, if this is the right level, or does it need to come down, or does it need to go up? And in terms of time, normally a lesson can take anything. If it's a bright, quick student, they may have it done in 20 minutes. A slower student may take as long as 45 or 50 minutes. So again, the system is able to be aware of that so that they can see the pace at which students are going. And that, again, is something that can be put into identifying what that final Lexile level needs to be.
Correct. Mr. Sidney, you had a question?
So maybe you already said this, but I don't care. How many times can I check if there's been progress in a student?
Okay, so look what is happening. Students are going through the lessons, and you can assign for them even 20 lessons in a month's time. But 4 lessons of those 20 has to happen in the class time, during when the teacher have the students in the class, and all the students are under teacher supervision. So what is happening in this time, whenever they're going through the activity, they have no chance to cheat. We are not evaluating those activities which are happening during the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and we are not evaluating, they can keep doing the activities, but it will not count at the Lexile growth, because in the home they can use Google Translator, they can use any other source, they can use family support, and it will not evaluate their growth, it will evaluate somebody else. To avoid that, what we are doing the supervision time for Achieve3000 is from 9 a.m. till 2 or 3 p.m. and you can adjust that. If you fully trust your student, you can even do for him 24 hours Lexile change during 24 hours, because there is no limit for him. If he's going through the activities and he's doing them correctly and you trust him, that's fine. That his Lexile will grow even if he will do the lessons at home. But what we can see in Middle East, especially in the UAE, that it will not work with the students in the school. Maybe for the university and for the colleges is a good reason, but not for the schools. Okay. And the other thing, what we didn't show it to you. So I'm not sure if you did try to go through the questions by yourself because you have an access. You see, the program will, after I finish the last question, I will see the report. So I as a student know if I did well or I did bad. There is a report for me and the report for you. So if I did 50% in the first try, which we are evaluating, which we are focusing on, I also have the second try, and as a teacher also can see this data, because on the second try I did 88%. But on the first try, which is the most important try, I did only 50. That means I'm not understanding and comprehending material completely, and for me it's a bit too hard. So what I will do, what the program will do, is continuously student will do 4 activities with the 50% correct answers, percentage of correct answers. The program will take students a bit lower to the a bit lower level. When he will feel himself comfortable and he will reach the goal, he will do 75% or higher. Okay? And you as a teacher, you can check this data anytime, anywhere. You can be at home, you can be, because Achieve3000 is available 24/7 on any devices. Computer, laptop, tablet, smartphone, anything which support the regular web browser can work with Achieve3000. So let's go, if
just
you know,
before we move on from the activity, one thing to point out, particularly for the benefit of the special needs teachers, all those who know that they have got lower ability learners in their classes. If a student is on an intervention level, then the activity will only have 4 questions in it. Otherwise, all of the levels, it has 8 questions. And that's the standard format each time when they come to do the activity for assessing their levels of comprehension and analysis and so on.
Yeah, the last thing what I didn't mention about the questions on activities, in different Lexile level, you will see different questions. If it's a higher Lexile level, you can check, you can switch on the higher Lexile level, you can see the question will be big, the answers will be 2 sentences or something. If you're on a lower level, the question will be more simple and the answers will be more simple. So it's also differentiated into 12 different levels. So after we complete the activity step, let's all press on the after reading poll. And I think the Leslie have some kind of ideas what she can discuss to you, but why we are using the after reading poll? Because we already had the answer for this question. Here in the after reading poll, a student can be agree or disagree, but in the third question, he should explain if something he read in the article changed his opinion and what it was what changed his opinion. And he still on the same, he's still thinking that he was agreed and now he's still agreed, then he have to explain to you as a teacher what's confirmed him opinion in the article. So whenever you're using prior knowledge and then you have the lesson, and then after the lesson you have the after reading poll, you have this critical thinking when the students can either stay on their mind, either they can change mind. And there is no right or wrong answer, there is just an answer. It's depend on the critical thinking of your students, it's depend on what they feel and how this article might apply to their lives. We actually had one girl, a student in the Petroleum Institute. She's from the very religious family with the strict rules. She's not going out a lot. She's not watching TV. She's not allowed to use the internet beside Achieve3000 because it's related to her education. She read in 1 month 300 articles because she was discovering the world through it. Because she was finding articles about the social networks, about the life, about what's happening in the world, about what was her interested in. Because we can keep search tool on for your school or we can take it off. It's your decision. But anyway, students will not be able to find any articles about the girlfriend-boyfriend thing, about the alcohol, about the pork meat or something which is not related to Islam, because we are all living in UAE and we have to respect the mentality of people in the same area, because we are all, in the end, we are all under Ministry of Education, under KHDA, and under Abu Dhabi Educational Council, correct? Any questions for the after reading poll or any comments, Leslie?
No, I think once they've done the reading poll, after reading poll, they also have an opportunity to click on and find out how all the respondents that have done this lesson either agreed or changed their mind afterwards, so that they actually get some final sort of box pop figures. Are you able to click onto that, Marsel, to show people? Marsel, are you able to click on to show them
Yeah, I
how
was thinking actually, sorry, that was Tony, he might join us right now.
So here you can see, so students get to see the extent to which people have voted, what the worldwide results are, so they can see to what extent they are either, you know, in a like-minded with people, or perhaps they're part of a minority opinion. It's quite nice to have that, and again, in looking at that, that can further influence them once they come to their thought question in terms of how they're going to compare that piece of writing and what kinds of things they intend to say.
Exactly. So what do you think about the poll results? It will help you to have some collaborative learning in your class, to have some discussion with your students, right? Yeah. And by the way, I didn't mention that we have the Mailbox. It's a closed system between teacher and students. Of course, students cannot chat between themselves because it will be another social network which you would like to avoid in your lesson. But the good thing about the Mailbox is the communication with the teachers. So you know that there is a fear of failure, right? So some students are so afraid you will never see their rising up the hand. But what happened with Achieve3000 after they read the article on their level, and if teacher is asking to some of the students to come out and say their opinion about the article and they don't feel enough confident, they can actually mail you or send you a message which you will receive on your computer during the class. Like, teacher, I'm thinking about this article, that this is the right answer. And you as a teacher say, yeah, yes, that's a great answer, just go ahead and answer with that. So he will not be ashamed or afraid to answer in front of all of the class, because teacher, the boss of the class, said that my idea is a good idea, right? And the same thing will happen, the teacher can comment it, can tell him, no, just answer in this way, in this way. So it's the time in the 21st century when students not supposed to see in teacher police officer who can judge them and fine them and, you know, get them into the trouble. They can actually see that teacher is actually somebody who can help them, who can let them grow up, who can bring them some knowledge and support all of the time. And when you will develop this kind of relationship with your class, believe me, all of your students will love you. They will listen what you're saying, they will respect you, and they will be just waiting till this class will start. They will not just count the minutes of the break, as usually happens when I was in the school. So, because we got a pretty tough teachers in Hebrew. And the thing is that solve question, and basically will not keep you more longer than maybe 15 minutes. After we will have some questions, and everybody who participated in today's training will get a certificate of completion. So just come here on the table and find the certificate with your name. By the way, this certificate is recognizable by all schools in US and UK, so in the case you can attach it to your CV, but I didn't tell you. We are not interested in you to move to the other school, we want you to make your school successful. And believe me, if you're a good teacher, you can do good in any school, that doesn't matter, right? Okay, so let's go to the thought question. And the thought question is actually also differentiated into 12 different levels. And as you can see here, I have already some notes. And where did I get these notes from? Any ideas? Notes too. I will see who was. Yeah, from where? From the reading connections, right? So whenever students are reading the article, and this is what we are trying to teach them, how to learn how to build reading connections. So whenever they are sending the purpose of the paragraph, these all notes are coming here. So whenever they will apply you the essay, they will write you the essay, then they will have the information which they need in order to write it. And as you may see, including your answer, there is a demand for each student different. So for example, as you see right now, I'm a student on the 660 Lexile level, and this is demands for me to write 2 paragraphs, to introduce a topic, to make points with the facts, use links, include an ending statement or section, use these specific words, which is government and column. Okay, what happening to me if I am a 1,320 Lexile level student, and I wish you have this kind of student because those are gifted and talented, and if they will see the demands for this student is completely different. It's much more higher demands. So the student which read better, because he have extra sources, he have the page number 2 in the article when there is more information. You as a teacher can give him gifted and talented support, 2-3 extra links, which is related to the same topic, but will give him much bigger idea. So he will write you this size of essay, and you will just, try to read it, comment it. And when you're getting the essays from your students, you actually have a chance to comment it, to grade it, to put your feedback, and to send it back together with achievement. By the way, I didn't notice that in the system we have points. So whenever students are reading, doing connections, doing activities, they're earning points. And what Ittihad schools did, they have the month's champion of the Achieve3000, and the student who earned most points during the months, he's getting 2 tickets to the movie. And you don't believe 1,500 students in each school was reading 10 articles a week in order just to get a free movie ticket. That's like, wow. School spent 70 dirham and earn much more, So they're doing really good. By the way, in the end of the year, we also will have the challenge between the school and the school which will show the Lexile growth, the biggest Lexile growth in the area, will also get a gift. So each teacher will get like a kind of, I wish it was a tablet, but I will make sure that it will be at least nice headphones, or it will be some kind of, things which you can use it on a daily basis, which will help you out. This is not about the gift, it's just about all other schools will know that GEMS Modern School in this year was in the place #1 in Dubai. And by the way, we are working with the KHDA, and one of the partners of our company is Mr. Humaid Al-Khatami, who is actually former Minister of Education, who was before 2014. Now he's working in the Health Authority. But those people are also telling to Minister of Education and to KHDA about our program, about the Lexiles. So soon what you will see that each time when KHDA comes and see that you as a teacher, what you can say about your class. Like for example, I'm coming to your class, how does your students doing? What they're doing? Like, what is the approximate level of your students? You can, as a teacher, you can say, oh, they're doing pretty well, they're learning their lessons, I'm putting them these marks. But here, you can pull out the report and you will see they will see all of your class, they will see the amount of time they spend in the program, they will see that how many correct answers they are giving and how they're growing, and the most important, they will see the Lexile growth from the day #1 when you start to use the program. They will see the Lexile growth, and soon that's what we are working right now on. The KHDA and Minister of Education will recognize the Lexiles, and when it will happen, that will not only be benefits to you as a teacher to just get your students in the to make your students better readers and writers, but it will also help you to have some kind of evidence for your management or for your, or by the way, for the parents as well, because with the student and teacher edition, we also have the parents edition. So parents can have separate access to the program, and they can go and support the teacher from the other side, right? They will see which lesson you assign for their kids. They will see all the information, the grades and stuff, so they can work. You can give them this access, you cannot. It's dependent on you, it's your decision. That's what we are doing. But the essay is a very important part of the the 5-step routine when they should submit it to you. By the way, they shouldn't do it at the same time. They might do it like, for example, they can write something, then they will press finish, but there is 2 buttons in the bottom, finish and submit. So whenever they will press submit, it will go to the teacher mailbox and it will go to the teacher report. So you get, if you would like, you can go and read each of the thought questions. If you don't want, you can just pull out the reports and you will see numbers of students who did the essay and submitted, and you will see those students who did not. So for you, it's very easy to see who is working with this and accordingly give them marks. Any comments on thought question?
I don't think on the thought question, all I would say is that when it comes to students submitting their work, we all know as teachers one of the biggest frustrations is to make sure that everybody has handed their homework in on time or their classwork in on The beauty of having the mailbox and access to every student is, of course, that you're then in a position to send a message to every student, so you have had that contact to say, where is your work, why is it not here, I want it. And if the school choose to have the parental link, then you have that three-way conversation. So not only are you communicating with the student, but you can be communicating with the family as well. So, while students telling their mum and dad, no, I haven't got anything to do today, but in actual fact they have, and they're telling you, no, I didn't have it because the dog ate it. We know because we can triangulate through the mailbox to find out exactly what's going on. So that, I would say, is an extremely useful tool. Marsel.
All right, yeah. I will just want to show you two more things, and then we will answer your questions and we'll be finishing. So if you notice that your students continuously repeating the same mistakes again, and you, by the way, as a teacher, through the mailbox, you can also send the material, not only from the program, but you can attach any file from your computer and you can send it to your student, and you can tell him, print it out, complete the task, and send it to me back. Okay, so this is another way of communication. But we have the writing center, and if you notice that during the thought question, your students was never using commas, dots, or stuff like that, or any other grammar categories. You can see here, compared contracts, like everything is here. Writing fluency, task prep, the mechanics, so you can go to the punctuation if you can see that they're not using those, and when you will open the punctuation and you will find the comma, okay, or sentences, or apostrophe, or colons, anything they're struggling with, you can, beside the Achieve3000 lessons, you can assign for them the grammar lesson, okay? So you can assign for them lesson about comma, and another comma. That will give them a brief information about how to use commas, what is the English rules with the commas, and it will give them in the end assessment. They will go and do the A, B, C, D answers, and in the end, after they finish, you will see the report if he does that lesson, and if he did it good, and he gave you a correct answer. Any comments on the writing center?
Just very quickly, having a look at the ICT curriculum, normally it's divided into things like language, literature, and then you've got the sort of grammar part. And I know for many students, they find that the most dull and difficult. And the beauty of having this is that, of course, it can then go over into a student's individual work. If you think you've got something that's more interesting, more valuable for the class as a whole, rather than having to just constantly focus on commas or colons or apostrophes, then you've got that as a backup, and you can then be using your classroom time to be focusing on other things that are actually, you feel, more important for the group as a whole.
Right. And beside the writing center, from the resources you can see, and I will be also showing you the training and support, and that's it. So Career Center is like another motivational tool for your students. For example, if students are in the higher or senior school and they're already thinking where to go, to which university, to which college, which profession to pick, and the Achieve3000 ultimate goal is to prepare your students and make them career and workforce readiness. This is our ultimate goal. So whenever they will reach the college level, they will be reading on the college level, and whenever they will finish the college, they will be already on the acceptable Lexile level for their career. So for example, your students would like to become a principal or a teacher in secondary, or for example, they want to work in government, or let's say they want to work in the, this is a very famous here, information technology, and they want to be the computer network support specialist, or which is very famous profession in UAE for locals are police officer and judge. They like this kind of profession. So whenever I will press the Find Careers button, what I will get, just let me do one more thing. I will just change Lexile level to more realistic for the school level. So whenever I will go here, I will see the description of this entire career. I will see the education requirements, so I can click on that and see which baccalaureate, what should I complete in order to become a principal in school. And I will see the career goal. So principal should be reading on 1,270 Lexile at least. And if I'm on a 400 Lexile level, that's mean, and by the way, we can go and let your principal to do the level test assessment. And you will see that the career goal and the current Lexile, they will know how much they need to work in order to become. And by the way, the funny story we had in ACT College when one student was going to become a police officer, he was seeing the results, oh, to become a police officer I should get into 1300 level, but if I will go just 100 Lexile more scores and I will be on 1395, I can become a judge. And if I will be a judge, my father will be more proud of me. I will not be just as the police officer, I will be a judge, you know? So this is another motivational system which you can use for your students. And this is the only place in the program when students can actually see their Lexile levels. Nowhere else they will be able to see their current Lexile level. So you can tell them about the Career Center and let them see their Lexile, or you can just tell them, use a program that will be on your Lexile level, and that's it. And the other thing, we're not a company who are just selling you the product. We will continuously work with you. We have our training team, training department with the 3 implementation managers. So whenever we will confirm the order with you, you will give us the class rosters. We will provide you the login and passwords for your class, and we will put the classes under the teacher. So for example, if you're teaching 3 classes, you will have your teacher login and you will have 3 classes under your teacher login, and you will be able to work with this to assign them lessons, to see the reports. At the same time, the manager or like head of English department will be able to see the ultimate results and will be able to assign the lessons for the entire school. But if teacher don't like the lesson which HOD assigned, she can easily remove it. Yeah, but it's all about your communication and work together, because 16,000 of non-fiction article will easily let you to find some material which will be interesting for you, which will be interesting for the teachers, and which will cover your main curriculum. So if you don't want them just to read something, let them read something which is related to the subjects which you're basically doing in the school time. But with us, they will read something which is live, which is recently happened, which is related to this century. They will not read the books which written maybe years ago, and as a teacher you also get bored probably when you're having the same books for the same classes year after year, year after year. Right? So besides that, we will have these 3 trainers who will come and give you the complete, this is just a presentation of the product, they will come and give you complete training on how to use Achieve3000. They will also, those all trainers are teachers. For example, Leslie, she's a teacher with a many years experience, and I'm just the presenter because I'm basically the manager of the sales department. I know the product, but from the teacher prospect, they will give you more knowledge on how you can use it on a daily basis. Because I'm only teacher in my diploma, but I can teach Ukrainian literature and Ukrainian language, which doesn't have nothing to do with your curriculum or with the English. But at the same time, I'm your colleague, and I'm suggesting you to try it out, as we are giving to Mr. Sidney the demo access for this 2 weeks. So please do, you have my contact details in here. So whenever you feel that you have some kind of questions, just email me. Here is my email on the second page. Here is my phone number. But better if you email me, because then you will get the complete answers with instructions, with everything. So if you do feel you need some additional support, because this is a 21st century program, we are not only giving you the many text, we are actually having the video trainings, and we are doing the webinars every month with all schools, when you can basically join from your computer and have the webinar, and you will be updated about new features and new stuff. Because as you, and if you have some feedback or you think that you know something which can improve our product, you just also send us a feedback, and we will really appreciate that. And we are very adaptive, so we are trying to adapt to the needs of the school. So whenever our trainers will work in your school, they will also ask, what do you need to do in your class with your students, in order they will bring you the knowledge how you can do it using Achieve3000. Because you have tablets, you have internet, you have all technology capacity in your school, you have your brilliant students, and you have yourself. The only thing what do you need is actually the right tool, which is covering differentiation, which is covering your curriculum, and which is covering your daily tasks. Okay? And here you have this learning center when you can go and learn anything about the program, and you can see that there is resources about the building vocabulary, so there is setting the stages, and if I'm kind of, a bit, let's say I'm a lazy teacher and I don't want to read a lot, I will just watch the video how to do that. But if I'm into it and I want to learn more, then I will download the file and I will read about each step of the program. So if there is no questions, or if there is any questions, we'll be glad to answer them. Any questions?
When is the primary demo being conducted? For the primary sensory?
For the primary, yeah, the thing is that Tony is trying to get to the school, and our apologies that we didn't do the presentation about the KG thing. But what we will do, if you can just send me an email, or I will send to Mr. Sidney and he will share with you all, we'll give you the maybe like 2 pages PDF file, which will describe the smarty ants, because I'm not certified with smarty ants, I cannot give you from the teacher prospect. Tony can, but he delayed in the previous presentation and he's trying to get here. If he will get here, he will do it. If not, we will send it to you, and we will also send you video when you can just watch video and you will have the instructor explaining you why you use that. So Achieve3000 is covering all school from KG to grade 12, but you're using different software and depend on the grade. If you're on KG to grade 3, you're using Smarty Ants. Then from the grade 3, grade 4, by the way, it's your decision. If you feel that your students are basic readers on the grade 3 level, go ahead and give them KidBiz in the grade 3 till grade 6. So from grade 6 till grade 9 we have the TinBiz, and then on the senior school we have this Empower3000. By the way, Empower3000 being used by many colleges and universities here for the foundation year. So it's basically the same level which they need to have in order to start their education.
So we can activate KidBiz first to check out the
KidBiz, yeah, of course. Today you will receive.
Today we won't be able to access.
Yeah, first of all, you can keep the login Marsel and Dzharkas 7T. The other thing, just today we will send to Mr. Sidney the demo access to the program. He will share it with all of you, and you will be able to go into the program and you choose either TinBiz, either KidBiz, is there anything you want to try it. By the way, Smarty Ants also will be there. And if you're a KG teacher and we didn't mention that to you today, you can also try it out. And after you will have some questions, either send them all to the Mr. Sidney, and he will take the complete stock of the questions and send it to us. We will answer them in once. So all the teachers will be not only reading their answers to their questions. You will have the ultimate question list, and you will have the answers in the same time. So it will be very nice for you to go through it. What we see here in the schools in UAE, that it's really helped, because you have many ESL students, completely your class have different levels, and as a teacher for you, if you will keep doing that, what you've been doing before, looking for materials and then differentiate them by themselves, you will only spend your time for differentiate materials. You will not spend your time to teach them what they have to learn in order to become a better students, better reader, better writers, better speakers, and better listeners. Because after they will build these all skills in themselves, they will be able to study anywhere. With a good English, they can go to any country, and they can keep learning and keep growing up till they will reach the ultimate goal. Anything you want to comment on this?
Just to encourage people to have a look at the entire range of programs whilst we've got the demo window for the next 2 weeks. The basic format, the home page that you saw today for TeenBiz is virtually identical as well for KidBiz and Empower3000. And the student page, that looks exactly like the teacher page, except they don't have as many areas to access in terms of looking at how to see what progress is being made. You've got lots of possibilities in the teacher page there for accessing information about the students, about building up your own expertise. And I would suggest, if you have a chance, probably get together 2 or 3 colleagues and play about with it and say, oh, have you had a look at this? And oh, have you seen this? And oh, look, it does this. And we can think about so and so. I think you'll find it much more beneficial if you work in small little groups than necessarily going away on your own and perhaps finding it quite frustrating because you can't see what's going on. Whereas a colleague can go, oh yeah, well try that. Or oh, I did this. And it'll help you to work through further. But play about with this as much as you can. With the teacher program, there is such a wealth of information there. And with the administrators program, which we haven't had an opportunity to show you today, there are something like 24 different variables that can be played around with, so you can actually have a look at what the kind of trends are that you're seeing in your classes or between your classes, or identifying where people seem to be either doing very well or falling behind. So again, go and have a look at that and play around with it. By and large, the system is very user-friendly, and it will very often tell you what it is that you need to do. But obviously, if you find that you are having any difficulties, then contact Achieve3000, and we're then in a position to show you what needs to be done.
The last thing what I want to tell you that how we came to your school, the way was that your principal was visiting the IB conference in Abu Dhabi, and she was the one who came to our stand, and she said, what is differentiated instructions? I need some differentiated instructions for my school. Please show me what do you have. And by that, we get in contact with her, and then we get in contact with Mr. Sydney and Ms. Julie. So after that, we get here. So your entire management already interested in that. And if you as a teacher think that this might help and will change the way you're teaching and make your life easier, only in this case go for it, because it's make difference here in UAE. Thank you so much one more time for your attention, and please come for your certificate. Thank you so much. Yeah. Okay.
So last year we had one of our students with special education needs actually come back to us after he tested in India, and we realized that for a year he had been struggling because he was reading 2 Lexile levels lower than the rest of his class. And when we looked at his report and we realized that was the problem, we thought was like, why not have knowledge of everybody's Lexile? And you're right in saying that it's a content-based syllabus, curriculum, sorry. But we've moved away from that, and we're looking at skills. And we're so sold on this that we've already put this into our action plan. So it's just a matter of figuring out the logistics of this. So thank you for being with us. Julia has a thank you for you. And if there are questions, we take it and we'll send it to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. You're a great audience. I would like to clap hands for you.